Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Moxxie Tarot podcast. It's Michelle here, and I am your host, and welcome. This week we're going to be talking about giving our power away. I recently started answering questions on a website called Quora. And on Quora, people log on and ask questions about pretty much anything you can think of. And experts in those fields answer the questions and share them with everyone who's interested. I've only been doing it for about a month or so, but it has been so interesting to see what types of questions people have. And it's also been becoming much more clear to me that the average person on the street is still looking at the tarot primarily as a tool of divination. And I live in my own little tarot bubble, and I have a tendency to forget that sometimes. And I think that when we look at tarot as only a tool of divination, we are doing a disservice to ourselves and to the tarot. It is such an incredible tool for exploring our subconscious, exploring our personal growth, digging into the stuff that we really need to address, the things that we really need to look at and release and let go of and address and all of those things. It's a fantastic tool for that. It allows us to explore our subconscious in a safe way and in a way that allows us to promote personal growth. Nevertheless, most people still seem to be coming to the tarot for the divination. And that's just fine. That's not a problem at all. I have talked until I'm blue in the face about the tarot being very flexible and having no one set purpose or use case or whatever you would like to call it. So I don't ever want to tell someone how to use the tarot. It is very much a personal decision, and no one is right and no one is wrong. I want to make that really clear. And I have to say I'm even guilty on occasion of trying to get a feel for what is headed my way using the tarot. I mean, who wouldn't like to know if they're going to get this job or if they're not going to get that job, or if they should put the work into something? Is it going to be worth putting all of this work into this project? Who wouldn't like to have a little bit of insight into how things are going to be going for them so they can navigate a little bit easier, right? Totally normal, totally human. And the tarot is much more than that. But if this is you or somebody that you know, I want to remind you that divinatory readings are accurate as of the moment they're done. But they fail to take into account our human foibles and our unpredictability and the fact that we are constantly doing crazy shit. So while someone may be able to give you an accurate reading as of the moment of the reading, we have all of that free will, and that free will gets in our way. Meaning that while the reader can see something very clearly on this day, they can't tell you definitively if something is going to happen because there are too many variables. The person that was going to hire you could break their leg and have to take 6 months off, and then somebody else hires you because the original person hasn't seen your resume. There are a bazillion reasons why things could and ways things could change. So what does it look like? Let's look at a specific example. Let's say you've had a reading done because you want to know if you are going to get that job that you've been hoping for. The reading is going to give you the probable outcome of the situation based on the probability at the moment of the reading. So based on that information, you might alter your behavior. So for example, if the reader tells you, no, it's not looking good, it's not looking like you're going to get that job. The reader's not telling you that you're not going to get the job. They're just saying it doesn't look like it at this point. Well, you have between this point and whenever that job is going to be announced, or whenever you have your interview or whatever it is, to impact that reading. If you take that reader's information as gospel and you say, well, okay, I guess I'm not going to get that job. I guess I shouldn't even bother trying. I guess I shouldn't reach out and make sure they got my resume. I probably shouldn't bother reaching out to make sure that that they're still hiring. I probably shouldn't bother to reach out to make sure that after my interview, they don't have any more questions, right? So by having this reading that tells you it's likely that this is not going to happen, but not definite, just likely, if we go and change our behavior, if we go and change or modify or try to, so if we allow a reader to tell us that something is going to happen or something is not going to happen, then we are accepting their word. We're not making the effort to take responsibility for our own lives, to make change in our own lives. We're giving someone else that power. We're giving someone else the power to really, in a really large way, potentially influence your life and influence the direction that we're going. So not advocating for yourself could make all the difference, right? Not advocating for yourself after you've been told that it's unlikely you're going to get this job could leave the interviewer thinking, well, I thought they were interested, but maybe they're not. And if somebody else reaches out that the interviewer perceives as more interested, even if you might be a better candidate, you might be losing out on an opportunity here. If the reader tells you that you will get the job, or it's likely that you'll get the job, you might stop sending out resumes, you might stop networking, you might change your spending habits because you know that you're going to get that job because your reader told you so. And you have just given them an incredible amount of power that no one deserves, right? I don't care who it is. No one deserves the power to tell you how to live your life. With a single reading, someone we don't even know can influence the course of our life if we let them. A responsible reader is not going to state definitively what they think is going to happen, or what the cards say is going to happen, or what the cards indicate is going to happen. It's not that the cards don't share that information with us. It's just that we need to take the time span and free will into consideration. Instead, a responsible reader may say, well, it looks like maybe this is not going to happen for you. Maybe this is not a job that you're going to get. Based on the cards, I'm seeing that there's some conflict, there's a problem, there's something here that is leaving me feeling like there's some sort of barrier to you getting this job. That is vastly different information than, no, you're not going to get the job, why bother trying, right? Instead, this reader is telling you what they see, and they are giving you the tools the information, the whatever it is that you need to make a decision about how you want to move forward. They're putting the control in your lap where it should be, and they are acting as a guide. They are acting as a conduit between higher self, source, whatever, and the cards, and sharing that information with you, as opposed to putting themselves in a position of being superior, of knowing more, of being omniscient. No one is omniscient, by the way. And sometimes we just let them do that, right? So by approaching things from the perspective of this is what the reader sees happening, and this is what you might consider doing to make a change, or this is what you might consider backing off of to make a change, whatever it is, ideally the reader is putting you back in the driver's seat. I've been doing this long enough to know that some readers will prey on insecurities, on struggles to make a decision, and create clients who become dependent on them. And that is not everyone. There are amazing readers out there. There are amazing tarot coaches who will walk you through step by step learning how to use the tarot for your own personal growth. So I don't want to use a broad brush and say everyone out there who is reading tarot is horrible. Obviously not. I read the tarot, right? It's a wonderful tool. And just like any other profession, there are people who are ethical, there are people who are not ethical, and it is your job as a client to do your research and find someone who is ethical, whose way of speaking resonates with you, whose vibe resonates with you, who you trust. Ideally, someone who's got some personal recommendations and some reviews and those types of things. So please realize that by finding someone who approaches the cards as a tool for personal growth or a tool for learning is actually going to be someone who is interested in helping you get your power back. Someone who is interested in partnering with you to raise you up, to learn to trust yourself again. And if I have described you in this podcast episode, don't beat yourself up. So many of us have been overwhelmed with life at one point or another that we would have loved nothing more than to have somebody just say, hey, do this, and this will happen. I know I have been guilty of that so many times where it's just like, oh my gosh, I just want somebody to tell me what I need to do. I will do it, and everything will be okay. And we all know that life doesn't work that way, unfortunately. So just remember that there is actually more and better and higher wisdom available to you through your own relationship with guides, through your own relationship with the tarot, through your own relationship with your higher self, than through regular traditional readings. The trick is to take the time to get to know yourself and to learn to trust yourself and to learn to open yourself up to all of that wisdom that is inside of you that's waiting to come out. All right, that is my soapbox for the week. I hope that if this is describing you, it gives you a little bit of food for thought and a little bit of courage to take some control back and learn to be more of the architect of your own life. All right, short and sweet episode. Take care, have a fabulous week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.